The kids are down. Wife's asleep.
So in 4 hours, you drank 15 Busch Lights.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at 8 o'clock, that's when you checked out and your wife had to deal with you.
Night time.
Night time.
Yeah.
Crack a beer. Pour a bourbon. It's After Dark. On ESPN Louisville Plus. Subscribe and smash that freaking like button. Now here's Justin Soforo.
Soforo. How do you
Soforo.
say Soforo? No, it's fur. It's fur, not four. That's why it's fur, man.
Soforo.
There you go.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Soforo. I don't know. Soforo? Soforo, my bad. No, Soforo.
Here's Justin Soforo. All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back in to another edition of ESPN Louisville Plus After Dark. I'm Justin Soforo. He's Corey Bosemer, and just welcome in everybody. Well, I'm sorry. I got to reset the tone a little bit. I think I'm just used to a little bit too much of the, I get out there and I just do my thing and I open it up like normal, but I feel like I should be setting this a little bit more of a somber tone. Just given the news of everything that's been happening here lately. But first off, just welcome in. Corey Bosemer is joining me as my co-host. Unfortunately, Anna Tarillo is out tonight. She's got some stuff going on, and then I think she's having some internet issues, but she will be back.
Is it unfortunate?
I don't. You're right. That's a good point. I'm very, very thankful and happy to have my guy Corey Bosemer here with me tonight. But as I said, need to reset just some of the little bit of the, I guess, the way that I kind of open it initially, just because I do my thing and I get out here and you bring the energy, but the energy today should be a little bit more of a somber tone because we're talking about, the same thing everybody would dominate the news Friday, what's going to dominate for the next couple of days or so, as it should for a long time. The monumental loss at Louisville Athletics, but also I think just college basketball, the NCAA has lost in general with the passing of Kenny Klein here on I think it was Thursday evening when it was finally official. But it's a difficult situation that we're going to try to, talk about it. We're going to try to honor him as best we can, while also just talking about like what can be done, what can the future hold with Louisville Athletics, and then ways to honor Kenny Klein as well. My guy Corey Bosemer, thank you for joining me today. Welcome in, and I appreciate how things going for you.
Everything's going good. I repositioned the camera given the majority of the points that we're going to be talking about.
Oops, 1 second. Sorry, that was my bad. That's my fault. Go ahead.
So if you look all the way in the back underneath the whiskey sign, that little red bobblehead, that's Denny Crump.
Oh, is that the Denny one? Is that the old school Denny one? Or is that... Get that for me.
No, it's, yeah.
Or is that the newer one to honor him?
I think it's...
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that one. I can't remember when they put that one out, but that one's legit. That one's awesome. Love that. Is that a Kenny Klein creation?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was, honestly. That man had his hands on everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, he was. I don't think there's anything that can be said about Kenny Klein that's too great. That's too, like from all the stories we've had. Yeah. And I'll be honest, all of my experiences with Kenny Klein, for the most part, have been through other people. Obviously, being around the station, Diener, Blankenbaker, guys like that who have long history, storied relationship with those around Louisville Athletics. And just their connections there. The Knights of the Round Table, as Diener will call it, with Kenny Klein, Rick Pitino, and all the ones around Louisville and Louisville basketball, Vinny Tatum, all those other guys, just what they were and what they meant and what they've been to this program. And just something for me is Kenny Klein's been, he's almost like Louisville's unofficial mascot for years. You know what I mean? Like he's just been that man who, no matter what, if you've never heard his name, if you didn't know what an SID was, if you didn't understand any of the other inner workings of college basketball, and you've watched Louisville basketball regularly, you've seen Kenny Klein. He's been right there. Mm-hmm. He's been right there in the scrum in the middle of everything. Unfortunately, he had been in a lot of the bad stuff. He had to be the guy walking with Rick through a lot of the bad stuff. He had to be there with him during the firing, if you remember, with the boxes and all that. But he has been the man, and he's also been the man that tried to keep this thing afloat and keep it going after the Rick Pitino era ended, until 100%. his retirement. You and I were kind of talking a little bit before we hopped on, but what kind of, knowledge, history have you had of what your, I guess, feelings on Kenny Klein were? Even though, you're a big blue man, but I feel like when it comes to most people,
I'm realist, though. Yeah,
you are. Yeah. No, well, that's what I'll say. That's one reason I'm happy to have you on here. There's certain people that can. I feel like you and I both do it kind of the same way with our rivalry aspect. I'm a Louisville fan, but I don't really just do the mean and ugly, nasty stuff all the time. I can't. It exhausts me. I can't do it all the time. Like maybe it is. There's like got to be some realism in the way we talk about each other's teams. And I have a respect for Kentucky basketball, and for a while, a lot of the things that like they would hold their standard to. I've dived in with Tarullo on some of the crushing of Kentucky basketball with some of the acceptance of the last couple years, but at the same time, it's never been like me rivaling. That being said, Corey, just give me a little bit of your kind of reference point with Kenny Klein and just like your thoughts on him. And
I'll start off with this. After I processed it a little bit, part of me was a little jealous, honestly, of the ones that actually really got to have a relationship with them. To be able to have a relationship with a man like that, a man of that stature, a man of that influence, that's what you want, especially in this line of work. I'm not gonna lie, I'm being serious. Part of me was, when I say jealous, not like jealous, but like, oh dang, I wish I could have had a relationship with him. Like most people do, or would in this line of work or this field. I come in towards the tail end of Kenny's full-time tenure there as a full-time SID. I came in right at the end of it. But, like I said off air before we got started, Kenny was always around somehow, some way. He was always a fixture. He was always around. And anytime I crossed paths with Kenny was real insightful, real personable, always asked, how things are going outside of, media stuff. And anytime I had a question, he didn't hesitate to answer, was thoughtful. He may tell you something you didn't like, but it's what you would need to hear. And anybody like me back then that was just getting started, that's what you want. You need to hear the things you don't want to hear more than the things you get what I'm trying to say. Kenny was one of those individuals. Kenny was very impactful, and he was a family man. And his works, the way he handled himself as a professional, showcased his family, aptitudes. How he was as a family man. He treated his colleagues and his players and every single media person like they were a part of his family, and that's rare in a professional setting and field. Kenny was the above all, be all, know all, and was a great man and a great person.
It was, I knew that he was respected. I knew how, even to a certain level, how highly respected he was, but it was awe-inspiring, like to get on Twitter and to see the
when
biggest
it was a national
names,
level, it was insane. Yeah,
the biggest names in sports, like at any level, talking about Kenny Klein. And I understand he had a long, there's lots of guys who have long tenured histories, but just talking about him being, also just realizing that the NCAA, with everything with Louisville, all the issues, all the problems, all the whatever, they all still trusted in Kenny Klein and his staff to be the ones that run numbers throughout the NCAA tournament. They were the keepers of that throughout the NCAA tournament for how many years as well. So it was just a situation to me that was like, wow, like how lucky were Louisville basketball fans to have a man like this as a representation of the program. With all the stuff that's gone on, no matter what, like he always kind of held the program and made the program look, they held that level of prestige with every single, I'm talking, you can't find a single person I don't think on the planet to say a bad thing about it. I don't think even an ex-girlfriend probably would say anything to that level with him.
Yeah.
What are the things?
John L. Smith was crying on air Friday morning, not just crying.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, a man like that. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm. So many emotional, thoughtful comments by people coming in. You saw ESPN Louisville, and like if you turn into our channels and everything, when they're talking about him, talking about the man he was, and it was just I don't know, it was just crazy to see. You were able, like that would never happen like when I pass or most people when they pass. But could you imagine, like you pass away and like you have an unquenchable line of people coming in to just talk about how great you were. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing to see that. So that being said, a couple of comments I did want to play, just to kind of like touch on, because I'll be honest, I never had the, like you said, I think you said you were jealous of other people, that they were lucky. I use that term.
No, I know what you mean. Literally. Yeah.
Well, I am jealous of people that have been able to have that relationship, to get to know him, to see, just the timeline, whatever it is. Like before I was at ESPN Louisville in any capacity, working with Andy's show and all that, I was doing Juventus coverage, soccer stuff for fun. I love Juventus. I love the Italian national team. We can talk about that later and how miserable I am with the FIFA World Cup right now.
Tournament, I know.
I'm going to go from 24 to 40 until the next time I get to see them play in a World Cup. Like it's crushing. Like it's not Nick Valvano, even Tarullo, and all these people who were like, "Oh, I'm missing Italy playing in the World Cup." You didn't fucking know who's on the team. You know what I mean? Like, no, you don't know what it hurts. This is pain. I live and die with Italy, just like I live with
no
Louisville.
shower Valvano. No shower Valvano.
Exactly. Okay, but back into a little bit. I do have the makers right here. As Kenny Klein would love, he would always have that makers with him. So I'm going to pour myself one and sip on that throughout this.
Hey, you know what? Go ahead.
What you got?
Matter of fact, I'm gonna get some myself.
Yeah, you might as well. That's what After Dark's about. That's what we're doing on here.
I don't normally drink, but on Saturdays, but talking about Kenny, why not? This is I believe this is what year is this Maker's Mark? Like a 2023 or a 2024 Christmas bottle. It's just got a 6 inches of dust on it. Pause. I'm about to knock the dust off of it.
I was like, do they even put the year on it? I was looking on it. I don't even see a year on mine. Anyway,
I'm just guessing.
But I enjoy that.
Right there. Yeah, I'll take a little bit. Why not?
Yes, sir. Yeah, to Kenny. While you're doing that, I'm going to play a couple sounds that people throughout the week, and when I say throughout the week, Friday, kind of just discuss Kenny Klein, who he was, what he meant to a lot of people, and just like different stories and fun things like that. So let me go ahead and actually, first off, I'm just going to play this sound by one James Strebel, who, with all his bluster and ugliness that he can bring to the table for Louisville basketball, I felt like, given everything, he gave a really heartfelt, emotional kind of, honoring of him. So I appreciate it. So I'll play
he did pretty good, yeah.
All right. I can't play, it's not going to play like 10 minutes, but you'll get a little snippet.
With all of the arguing and bickering back and forth between Louisville fans and Kentucky fans and fans in the ACC and fans around the country about we have the best basketball team, we have the best football team, we have the best athletic department, we have the best NIL setup in all of college sports. Everybody's bickering back and forth who has the gold standard. And Louisville fans, there is one thing you can unequivocally say that you had the best. And you had the best SID, and his name was Kenny Klein, and he was the best. You had the greatest. You had the gold standard. That's not up for debate.
I thought that was well said. I thought it really,
it's very, very accurate.
Yeah, it just really touched on it. So here, I'm going to play a few more off, and then I'll just play them all, and then we can kind of just keep going with the show. But let me see.
I had the emails open up. You were talking about our back and forth, and we were asking for pictures of, Maben pitchers, Angel McCautry, Junior Bridgman, Purvis Ellison, and some Luke Hancock shots.
Of course, Luke.
And so I was like, oh, perfect. These are great. And then, so I'm thinking that the email thread's over. He sends me more. It's like, oh, I stumbled on some more that I found that if you guys wanted to try and use too.
Yes.
So like for the mural. So it's like, I was like, hey, this correspondence is over. You sent me enough. These look great. And he ended up sending me like 20 more photos. So just like drop it. He didn't have to. He didn't have to send it. Like I said, hey, what you sent me was great. We're pleased with this. We can go to print with it. And that kind of shows, just the kind of work ethic that he had there for sure.
And that's a little bit out of context. I should probably provide a little bit. Phil was talking this morning just about not even really having much that, having a little bit of a relationship with Kenny Klein, not knowing him that well, but just reaching out to him asking, hey, do you have something that we can use for the murals that we're trying to put up at ESPN Louisville and that they were working on there? And he, like, above and beyond. Like, you're talking about, like, and I know, I'll say this, my day job that I work for a councilwoman in Metro Council District 10, and I work as a legislative assistant. And like the amount of emails that I just receive alone, taking time to respond to each email to help out, to try to, get things done. You got public work stuff, you got all kinds of stuff people asking for, just in that little slice. And can you imagine the amount of like requests that a guy like Kenny Klein gets on the daily from Louisville Basketball, and to take the amount of time that he does and care to do stuff like that. It just when you work in this business or in any way like that, it means a lot to people. It really does, to show that kind of respect. Also, and I'm not just trying to like blow, smoke or whatever up people's tuchuses, if you will. But Phil Baker kind of reminds me of that kind of guy. If you've ever dealt with Phil Baker and the work that he puts in and how he helps people out. So I do want to give my guy Phil a shout out there as well.
Pikes Point. However he says it with a real high pitch. Heights Point.
Heights Point Mafia over here. Drew Dieter had a great story about Kenny Klein and receiving a vehicle from one Rick Pitino.
It was his 50th birthday, and I was getting ready to call a game, and I was there early. There wasn't anybody else really there at the arena, and I'm pretty sure it was Freedom Hall. He had this sort of shocked look, and he's like, I was like, what's going on? He goes, just come with me. So we walked out that tunnel, where all the media comes in there. He goes, look at this. So, and it was his Lexus, the Patino. He goes, Rick bought me this today. He's like, I was at the practice facility, and I come out, and he goes, he bought me a Lexus. He was just in shock. I think it was a convertible too, right? It was.
It's like a convertible, and he kept it for a long time.
He was in absolute shock. And I was like, he did what? He goes, and he told me how he did it, and it was just really cool,
super cool. And and Patino loved him.
So the reason I like bring that up, and the reason I even play that sound is just kind of just showing the relationship there with Rick Pitino, with him. The reason I do kind of want to go a little on a tangent there, and it hurt. Like I don't, I understand we're in a touchy time frame, so I don't want to like be too descriptive or too, into the details of everything that happened. But it seems it's pretty known at this point. It was it's something. It was a shock event. At Jeff Ruby's and eating and, basically choking on something. And then, when you get incapacitated that way, it's something that like, I think I have a kid who he's massive, but he just like massive is like, he's big and strong. He's not whatever, but like he'll eat so fast. And then a couple of times he'll have little, like he gets something caught in there. And like, this makes me totally rethink everything, when you're out, when you're eating or doing something, of just being like, how at risk, I know it's a freak accident. I know it's a freak issue that happened, but it's just like your everyday activity that you have to do. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, and I guess the reason I bring that up is like Rick Pitino loved Kenny Klein. Like that might be one of his best friends if it's not his best friend. You know what I mean?
My thing with Rick in this is I wonder how much longer he coaches.
You think that? I think no matter what,
I think it's going to affect it.
You think so?
It's definitely going to. Oh, dude. I mean, that was basically his best friend, his right hand.
He was able to coach for a bit without him, and then he brought him back last year. Or was it the year before? It was 2 years.
Year before.
Year before.
2 years,
and I mean, and he had just, there was a story of, I don't know if it was at Jeffrey was that time or where it was, but they were out at dinner, and the guy, he had just said, Kenny's coming back next year too. And like, there was a joke that Blankenbaker was saying that, like, supposedly the rumor was Rick Pitino was already planning for his current SID to get sick another year.
Yeah.
And need for him to come out there. But like, no, that's his man. Like, we made the joke all the time about, Issel's little man and stuff like that at the station and thing with their show, Louis and Issel. But like he was, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I guess technically I'm kind of, my council member's little man. I'm that person, you're that go-to person that's going to get everything done. But like he takes it to another level. He, because you kind of had to, like, to do those kind of jobs and those kind of duties, you kind of have to have that relationship with the person you're working on, working for. You have to know, you have to understand, you have to learn, you have to develop their beats and all that. So you kind of have to become someone like a best friend to somebody, so that way they can rely on you that heavy. You bring that up. I've always said,
think about it. I haven't heard anybody say that. Like, I'm not saying that it will, but like, that's something you really have to consider, not just because of the closeness of their personable friendship. They were basically brothers damn near. I mean, anybody that knew them knew that. Like, you got to factor everything that they had been through together too, not just the good, the bad too, and they made it through all that. Like,
I understand and I agree with it to a point. I think, but for so long, from so much time, I've kind of viewed Rick Pitino as a, okay, that's not a good. I was about to use an analogy I don't need to use right now, but I was about to say Joe Pa. I did not. I was like, no, I don't mean that way. I don't mean that kind of program. Well, there's stuff happening, but I just meant like if he is not on that court, he is going to die. Like he will live forever if he can keep coaching, but the vampire will not keep being the vampire if he's not able to go suck some blood every once in a while. And that his blood sucking is basketball. It's college basketball. He thrives on it. That being said, there's a couple of things that just kind of ran through my head, and I apologize. I want to make sure anybody who's watching this, shout out to the 250 whatever people that are watching it. When I say this, I don't want to misconstrue it. I don't want to take it as like, oh, he's going a really dark place. But like, we talked about Rick Pitino and all the issues and like, will he ever come back to Louisville? He always said, I'm never coming back to Louisville again. Like, I'm never coming to this city. But like, and there were rumors out there that, that they were there. And I don't know if this is specifically what he was here for. I know there was something maybe at Hurstbourne or whatever that was going on, but there was a rumor that
there was some like golf tournament, like a member guest or celebrity guest thing or something. Yeah.
Which makes sense. And I think at the same time that there were some talks or discussions about like, hey, organizing a game between St. John's and Louisville was in the works there, kind of thing.
I think that's a foregone conclusion. That better happen.
Okay. Well, okay. First of all, okay, I'm gonna divert from my main point that I was gonna say, and I'm gonna ask you this right then. So you want that game to happen? You think it has to happen?
I think it shouldn't even be in question. Like, that's how serious I am. Like, you can tell. Like, I'm short with my answer. Yeah. Like,
I don't want it. I don't want the game. I don't want a Louisville St. John's game.
Why not?
I don't. I don't want. To me,
people. Here's my thing. People would want it more than people wouldn't.
See, okay. To me, if from a Louisville perspective, I don't think it offers anything good. I think all it does is it gives Pat Kelsey a chance to go out there and get exposed once again, and to have the knife at his throat from most of the fan base that questions him anyway. And I understand, like, we end up coming back with these positive feelings because of the recruiting class and all that. But once we get back into the season, and you have a season of not beating any coaches worth a damn.
Who you
know what I
should
mean?
beat, yeah.
So I just think nothing about this game can do anything good for Pat Kelsey and Louisville. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I do want the game because I don't want, you know, I want to have a level of expectations, and I don't want to protect my coach.
Let's say,
but of course, mm-hmm.
Let's say Louisville comes out and they say we're going to honor Kenny, hang a banner in his memory, and Louisville and St. John's are going to play basketball to help honor it.
Uh-huh.
You mean to tell me Rick wouldn't come back for that?
Okay, and I do feel, I think in my heart of hearts in the bottom there, I feel like that's what's going to make this actually happen now. Because now it's like you can't not have the Kenny Klein Classic. I mean, how you look at it and you see what, you know, St. John's, and that was touching to me to see their post, which was Kenny Klein,
they added
they had the Cardinal bird. Yeah, they had the St. John's and Cardinal bird together. Yeah. I should have worn my St. John's pullover today. I should have done that while I was at it.
One?
Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. Trust me, we'll see how this season goes. I may be full on St. John's man by the end of the year. We'll see. But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
More than Creighton?
Oh, more than Creighton Harley? I think I don't know. He and I are pretty close. No, there's no way, because Creighton, I mean, do you ever listen to the mixtape? Did you hear the mixtape and the sound from this week?
I don't listen to the mixtapes usually. I just listen to the shows.
Oh, the mixtape's
what do you
great.
Say?
Well, there was sound of the Pat Kelsey press conference, and Creighton was discussing things behind the scene. A hot mic was on, and he was commentating. Yeah. It's in there. I don't think Creighton's too high on the Pat Kelsey train. He's more of that money should be going. Obvious. That money should be going to Jeff Brom. That money should be going to Danny Mack and all those kind of guys. That being said, here's the issue. I think it would be great to honor him. I don't think Pat Kelsey, if he's thinking right in this program, I don't think Louisville can really get much out of it except for honoring Kenny Klein. That's all you're going to get. Rick Pitino's going to get his chance to come for blood and gonna spank that booty a little bit.
And guess what? If any coach deserves to come for the blood of Louisville, it's their former coach with the shit he's been put through. You think he wouldn't be motivated? Like, he would already be motivated.
Of course.
To beat Louisville. You think he ain't going to be motivated now more than ever on the night of honoring Kenny Klein, his best friend? Come on now. You better watch out.
Of course, we haven't seen we've seen Rick Pitino motivated against people who have wronged him or hurt him in the past, and see what happens with Kentucky.
Well for him.
No, so maybe it would be one of those things where he obsesses so much over it that who knows? That's where we live with it. Shout out my guy Walt Nicholas, one of our members, and I apologize, my guy. I saw just a little bit before we started that you had DM'd me. I'll get back to you. I promise you this evening. He said, we won our third title in 2013. I don't care if NCAA wants to delegitimize itself by pretending we didn't whoop that ass in 2013. The way I see it.
I don't know if you call it an ass whooping, but you definitely won the game. It wasn't an ass whooping. It was a single-digit victory.
It was a fantastic. Yeah, it was a fantastic game, though. It was
definitely a victory. Solid victory.
Yeah.
You won a national championship. Everybody knows that, even Stevie Wonder, but it wasn't an ass whooping. Let's come on now. Let's not put it up there too much. It wasn't an ass whooping. It was a victory.
That's fair. I'm not gonna nitpick when it comes to that.
You did win it. I'm not gonna be one. I'm not one of these guys that says you didn't.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. You won it fair and square. Everybody saw it.
But it was one of those situations where that season, like, again, if you want to try to claim Louisville basketball, if the NCAA wants to claim, that title doesn't count or whatever, I want all that money back in my bank account that I spent to go to every single one of those games, and all the traveling and all the other shit that I did. I want all that money back if you're going to tell me that didn't count.
Yeah.
That being said, and then shout out, thank you, Walt Nicholas, as well as our other members on the channel. They do a lot to help us sponsor, to continue to be able to do and bring you things like this. I know it's been a little while since we've had a few offish weeks with After Dark. I've had a lot going on my end, Trillo on her end, and then it's just been a lot. So I appreciate my guy Corey for stepping in here and helping us do this. Come on.
Come on.
But I appreciate it. Anyway,
That's Mickey the Boot's cousin Jimmy. Come on.
that's so okay. Hey, you watch some South Park at all? You feel you seem like a guy who has watched some South Park in his day, like back in the day. Have you heard
I'm 41. Yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
Have you heard intern Mark? Have you heard his voice?
I know the character name, but I can't picture the voice.
Give me 1 second. I'll find it here in just a sec. The reason I bring it up, he reminds me of the cousin from it's a Kyle's cousin from South Park. Let's see. I got it in here. Let's see. Mark. This is totally derailing the show. So here it is.
It's all right.
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay.
Some of the best stuff happens when derailment goes on.
That's a good point. All right. Here we go. Dude, his voice kills me. I when he talks, I'm like, that's not really your voice. Like, I don't have a great voice, but his is ultimate. Okay.
Do you think I'm intimidating at all because of my size?
No, but Shaquille O'Neal over here is Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
That's him talking about Justin Jeffries, by the way. He calls him Big Diesel and Shaquille O'Neal. Anyway, he reminds me, when I heard his voice, it reminds me of Kyle's cousin from South Park, if you know what I'm talking about. Not my glasses. Anyway, okay. So here's my question, and here's the thing that I just can't get my head around when it comes to Rick Pitino. He talks about, I know Rick Pitino's a lot of talk. I'll never play the game again. We'll never coach again. My career is done. All these kind of things. All the times that he said so many final things when it comes to basketball. His career, he's known for hyperbole in those circumstances. That being said, I don't know how many times he's been back to the city of Louisville since he's been fired. I'm going to guess he's had at least a time or two that he's come back in between that we don't know of or that we haven't really heard of. You know what I mean?
He has at least, yeah.
I believe he has. And by the way, guys, if you haven't already, do me a solid favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos on the YouTube channel. If you're watching it, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, jump on over to the YouTube channel and tune in there as well and give us
don't forget to smash these.
Smash these, yes. But I guess my thing is this: if this is the next or latest time that he's returned to the city of Louisville since, or announced since his firing. And the reason I'm saying is going to go to a dark place, but it's just like you get fired from this city. You have so many, I'm sure he's had a lot of sleepless nights since he was fired. You know what I mean? Just like everything that I would imagine I would feel the same way. But then the next time like you officially come back and you're here and like one of your best friends like chokes and passes away at Jeff Ruby's.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, the way if I'm Rick Pitino, like, I don't know if I'm going to guess he's somewhat of a superstitious man. Seems most of those kind of, coaches are in a way. But, like, talk about all the negative feelings, all the dark places, your mind, you have to kind of go to of, like, wow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never want to go back to that city. I would almost never want to go back to Louisville again. If you're talking about last time I was here, I was getting kicked out the door, and now I'm here. And one of my best friend in the world, literally eating at dinner, chokes and is basically incapacitated and has to be taken off of life support. Excuse me, sorry.
It's crazy. Like Drew said, speaking of that, like he was just eating shrimp.
Yeah,
that was it. He was eating like something like shrimp in the back room at Ruby's. That's all he was doing. Nothing out the ordinary. And then it's like you said, you're going by, like, I'm gonna say you're going by a book, but you're doing things the right way, taking care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, what are we doing here? Stuff like that makes people question certain things in life.
Yeah. Mike gives us Kyle Schwartz. That's his name. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing back the humor a little bit and in a moment of, kind of dark reflection. it's I don't know. This is one of those deaths that not a lot of like famous people, quote unquote, deaths affect me. And like, I guess, and that's the thing about maybe
you're starting to realize, honestly, you're starting to realize how famous he actually was.
That's
given the national outpour.
Well, and that's what's crazy. Like to me is like, I'm like, wait a second, Kenny Klein, he is, but he isn't a famous person, if that makes sense. Like he's a known face to you and me. It's speaking to his character and to the person that he was.
I'd say he is now.
Yeah, he is definitely is that. Did ESPN, did they post anything about him on the website? I haven't actually looked. I didn't see
honestly,
if it was.
I haven't looked either.
Yeah,
I haven't looked either myself.
This is one of those
more they did somewhere.
It's kind of like one of those morbid moments where like I don't really want, I know it. I like to hear my people speak on it and like how they've talked about it on Friday on the radio. I wasn't really seeking it out. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like it's almost like I don't know how inundated I want to be with it.
To me, it's not one of those things you do seek out.
Yeah,
I would think you wouldn't, anyways.
And this might be one of those things too, where it's like people here even are like kind of like, I don't know how much for the After Dark that I really want to be a part of that because it is so morbid. It is such a hard topic to talk about. But there's a reason, and let me kind of get through this and get to the better part of it. I think the brighter side, I guess, of the coin. So anyway, I just kind of wondered that about Rick. That was a secondary thought. Also, and this is just, I don't know. This is our legal correspondent, Corey Bosemer. Is there I don't think, because Jeff Ruby's, they're all friends and all that, but like, if somebody chokes at your restaurant, is there some kind of, because like you'd imagine every restaurant would have like there'd have to be some kind, and I don't know the legalese when it comes to this.
Ooh, that's a question for Keith Pointer, honestly. Yeah. Honestly, it really is. But it's too late. I'll text him and actually ask him right now, but it's past his bedtime. Shout out to Keith though. But honestly, yeah, I would think is given his age, but
that's something that just came to my mind just because I was thinking, I was like, man.
This is me personally. Situational. I would think it depends on the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine. I just didn't know. Yeah, it would have to be like poison or something would have to be wrong with it. If it's just food and solid, I would imagine there would be some kind of protections there in any restaurant.
Think that's how it was, yeah.
I worked at B-Dubs through college. I don't remember anything like that ever coming up. That's really it.
Which one did you work at?
Middletown, over there.
Hell yeah, I love B-Dubs. I used to go to the one on Dixie Highway all the time when they were still around. Man, R.I.P. Let me tell you, man. A total derailment of the show, but it's good. So I had it so good in there, dude. I could walk in the kitchen, say what's up to the cooks, throw them a $5 bill in the kitchen in the middle of rush. They bring me my food piled up to the ceiling at the back door. I could walk to the back, smoke cigarettes and drink with the workers while they're on their breaks out back. I could go behind the bar at points and just pour my own drinks and shit. I was like, this is great.
Well, Corey, I think you may have exposed why that B-Dubs is no longer in business. I think at the end, I think that's probably why. I think that's why the one in Middletown's still going, while the one on Dixie Highway is RIP. Yeah. But no, that's awesome. That's good.
I know this much. Mm-hmm. Not many people had it like that. So one person didn't make the place go kaput. But I was in there 4 days a week spending money. That place was like a fucking club. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, everybody was there.
I'll tell you this. There are people, it shocked me, working at B-Dubs. There are people that come there and basically live there. And like they just hang out there. They play Golden Tee all. This has been, last time I worked at B-Dubs was 13, 14 years ago now. So I don't know how much it's changed. But back then, there were older gentlemen that would come in. I guess they're retired or whatever. They come in and just play Golden Tee and order wings and then give you a few hours to order another thing. And they'll just be sitting in the bar hanging out all damn day. And good for them. I guess they're living, they're living life how they want to live it. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors here, at ESPN 680. That is Boomba's Pizza. Shout out to the guys over there. Make sure you check out. They have the very best crafted for you pizza, beer, and shareables in the Highlands, Westport Village, J-Town, Jeffersonville, and E-Town. That's Boomba's Pizza, and we really appreciate their support, their sponsorship of the station. Of course, the round table, and we have plenty of. Maybe we can try to see if we can get another live video kind of situation set up at Boomba's Pizza, like we've done in the past as well. I know Big Reg, Double J, and the guys we're talking about that. And we're also talking about, if you haven't already checked out, when we do the show on Wednesday night after Dark Live, Weird Wednesdays, James Strebel, Anna Tarillo, and myself, we dive deep into some of the conspiracy theories and all that weirdness, if you will.
I've been sending Strebel, I think in the last 3 or 4 days, like 4 to maybe 6 or 7 like TikToks. And it's about stuff that's like right up the alley of like Weird Wednesday stuff, like cult videos and Oliver Tree going to Antarctica.
We talked about that. We did that on Wednesday. We talked about that one.
That's nuts, dude. I'm not buying it. You cannot tell me that's not a coincidence.
Now there's certain stuff that like we were discussing, and there's certain rabbit holes that I'm interested to go down with that. I mean, there's also like the, okay. Where we at? Everybody's tuned out right now. Everybody's already moved on. Nobody's really watching. There's nobody really watching the show right now anyway, right?
We got 265.
So me, there's nobody watching. I'm just going to pretend nobody's watching. There's the whole thing. I hate to go this way, but like there's the whole thing with the Epstein stuff and everything that happened. I know when Epstein, but did you dive into any of the Epstein stuff when it was coming out and like read any of that stuff? I mean, it was horrible.
No,
it was terrible.
The only thing that I dove in was the realization that motherfucker didn't kill himself, and Stevie Wonder could fucking see that bullshit. You cannot. He did not kill himself.
So
them saying he killed himself is equivalent to believing Bill Clinton didn't get a blowjob from Monica Lewinsky. That's the equivalence. Believing Bill Clinton, that's the equivalence of it. It's idiotic.
So here's the thing. It made me think about it today. And I don't believe this. Just to clarify, I don't believe this legally. I don't believe this. I don't think this, whatever. But it came up legalese, yeah. But when it comes to, this entire scenario, one of the things I thought of, I don't know why it came to my mind, but they had talked about how in the past, people that have become famous, rappers, movie star, actors, actresses, all this stuff. A lot of them, they talk about the Kanye conspiracy, the theory of like he sacrificed his mom so that way he could be famous and all this stuff. He talks about it kind of. He says that about Donda and all this kind of stuff. And then there's all these things that I'm like, damn it, Rick. Did Rick do it? Did he really want a title that bad? Did he sacrifice? Anyway, I don't believe that. I don't know why the conspiracy. I think Strebel's too much in my mind and it has put too much conspiracy stuff in my head that popped up for a millisecond. And I'm like, Rick was in town. He was here. Do I blame Rick? And no, I'm not blaming Rick. No, this is a freak accident that happened, and it wasn't Rick Pitino. But it's heartbreaking. And I know Rick is like more than us because Rick had a real relationship with him, and Rick is probably having as hard of a time as anybody outside of his wife and his family.
I'll tell you a good way to pay respects to Kenny. Aside from treating people how they should be treated, is bumping the shit out of Jimmy Buffett. Motherfucker, I was at the gym Friday blaring Jimmy Buffett Essentials on iTunes as loud as I could in my headphones. I'm walking around. I'm walking around doing dumbbell work, singing Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Oh, Buffett had some bangers.
At the gym.
Oh yeah. That's
in Paradise.
I don't even know how you work out I don't know how you get hyped to that one, but it's good music. I enjoy it. I usually like it on
Friday,
the beach.
It was Kenny, and I realized how much Kenny liked Jimmy Buffett. So I was like, fucking play it.
I think this calls for, while we're at it right now, I think this calls for a reading of, and I had to go to Matt Jones to try to find this, KSR, by the way. But I think this calls for, we're talking about Kenny Klein. I think nobody encapsulated the idea or the term, and I'm being serious when I say this, but of what a Louisville man is. And being a Louisville man, there will be no larger, bigger, more important, more invested, harder working Louisville man than Kenny Klein. But just because it's funny, I want to read Mark Blankenbaker's old thing that he tried to wipe from the universe. But your friends over at KSR still have a quote of all of what he wrote on their website, even though the Crunch Zone has removed it. But I think honestly a lot of this stuff really does, as cheesy as it may sound, but I think it does reflect how Kenny Klein operated. Though he said it's a source of what does it mean to be a Louisville man? These are just excerpts of it, so maybe it's not the full thing, but it's a source of pride. A Louisville man does the right thing. He's honest. He does what he needs to do. He loves his family. He takes pride in his work. He attempts to make himself better every day. A Louisville man has integrity. He displays his ethics. He is honorable. A Louisville man is not perfect, but he strives to be. A Louisville man does not turn his back on other Louisville men in hardship, but there are certainly times when someone can lose the honor of distinction. But until that time, we remain together. Who better than to lead Louisville now than Rick Pitino, a man who knows precisely how to rise from the ashes, burned either by his own hand or by the hand of others. A Louisville man. End of reading.
So cute.
That is cute. I don't think I ever read it originally. I do enjoy that, like, that stepping off point where it says burned by others or himself. I mean, Blake called it. Blake was right on when it comes to Rick Pitino, that Rick Pitino would be burned by hand of others or himself there in the end. Hey, a little bit of both.
Speaking of burn, I'm gonna go at our boy Nick Valvano. I can't believe it. Man, he better take showers all next week. I know I was texting Andy about it last week. He ended up talking about it on the show. It's going to be swamp-ass o'clock Monday through Saturday. And I'm like, hey, buddy, Nick.
Oh, no.
Little Dio for the BO.
No, dude, I mean, today was horrible. Like, even just today. Like, I was out there mowing my yard, and everything was soaked. It was like I just jumped in the pool by the time I count. So if it's gonna be worse throughout the week, no. I ain't trying to. That's why I'm glad that I'm not like.
He said he got powder for his nuts off Amazon during Prime Day, which I don't know if I would tell everybody that you got powder for your nuts, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is Bosemer. You don't know Corey? Corey's been around. He's got Bosemer Media.
Who is that?
He's saying, I don't know who the guy is, but he's spot on. If you want to honor KK, treat people right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's how you should, and you should treat people right anyways, but definitely because Kenny Klein always did. I'm not saying that he may have said some stuff about people that maybe shouldn't, but it was deserved if he did. I can honestly say I've never heard anybody say Kenny said anything bad about anybody ever. I mean, that's just who Kenny was. He was a good guy.
No, speaking of people who misstepped.
He's a good fella. He's one of us.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back at your life, what's going on with Kenny Payne, this is what you would want to happen with you, where nobody has a bad word to say, or everybody can agree that person was special.
The problem is Strebel was right in the middle of giving his Kenny Klein eulogy, and he messed up and said Kenny Payne, and I had to cut it immediately. It made me so happy. Also, this story that brings up and it makes me remember this story about the reason that Louisville basketball no longer has, obviously until this point, why he retired from Louisville basketball, and the reason he left. He was going to retire before Kenny Payne got hired, and then, well, here's the story.
When Kenny Payne came, that was the year that Kenny allegedly retired. And Kenny asked him to stay and guide him and help him and so forth. So Kenny stayed another year. Now, he didn't the second year, and I'll tell you why, because after begging Kenny to stay and help him, Kenny never listened to him. He never listened to a word he said.
I'm shocked, Russ. I'm shocked, I tell you. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Kenny Payne knew better than Kenny Klein. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the story.
Right.
He knew better than everybody.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I hate Kenny Payne. Like, I have no problems, no qualms saying that. I will hate Kenny Payne until the day that he is 6 feet under, or until I'm 6 feet under, whichever one comes first. There is no redemption for Kenny Payne. Like, to me, there is absolutely no redemption for what he did at the University of Louisville. The people that forced us on the basketball program, there's some people out there that still believe that they have not paid for their atrocities to what this program has become. There's a possibility right now. I'm giving Pat Kelsey the benefit of the doubt that he's going to be able to bring this program back.
Let me ask you this: How long do you get benefit of the doubt? How long do you continue to walk around in this belief of it's always fucking hunky dory?
For Pat Kelsey, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Or you mean?
And I'm not saying nothing bad about Pat. Pat is a good dude, great family man, clear as day. He knows ball because he has a job, because Louisville's not going to make that same mistake twice. Obviously, they made the correct call getting Kelsey with what he did the first year. But how long is it going to be hunky dory? How long is it going to be hunky dory?
Well, okay. Here's
how long are you going to wait on the first year?
And here's where I kind of step off of it a little bit. Everybody was happy about the first year. I thought the first year was okay. I thought it was fine. It was a down ACC. It was not a good ACC that Louisville basketball played in. Louisville basketball lost to Mark Pope in Kentucky that year. And I think people valued that loss a little bit more than it should have, especially when you see how he coached this coming season. This is going to be the telltale season for Louisville basketball and for Kentucky basketball moving forward. Kentucky basketball, Mark Pope kind of got bailed out there at the end for what looked like a terrible, terrible roster. You ended up putting together something that is serviceable.
American government style. I'll take the bell out.
Well, but what I mean is because
who wouldn't take that?
And when I say this, I don't care. I wanted Louisville to pay everything for Momchilovich, but just because of the abundance of funds that they could pay him, he came to Kentucky. He says that he thinks Mark Pope's system is going to really work for him. I don't know what Mark Pope's system is. I still haven't really been able to break that down.
You always lying. Ooh, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, take the money. That's fine. I get it. But don't lie to me and say that you really looked at his system and the system's what's going to work for you. That being said, though, Pat Kelsey,
$6 million system.
Yeah, and here's I don't love, because like right now Pat Kelsey, the way I was sitting on it at the end of the season, I was pissed off. I don't care. You win one game in the NCAA tournament, and at that point, that's not how many times have you heard Ethan Moore? I don't know how many people, Taylor Lynch, everybody else. It's not the standard of Louisville basketball. But I understand there are plenty of years out there that Rick Pitino went out there and lost in the first round. I remember losing to Cal. I remember losing to Butler back in the day. I remember losing to plenty of teams in embarrassing fashion. Losing to Morehead State. That's fine. With Rick Pitino, you knew he was a proven quantity. You knew what you can get out of him. Of course, in the Cal Morehead State days, we were also saying it's maybe time for Rick Pitino to go and retire. I didn't believe it, but...
Was that when they had Kenneth Faried?
Yeah, that was Faried. That was the Faried game. I was in Cancun watching that. And well, at the time, nobody knew who the fuck Kenneth Faried was. Nobody knew who he was. So that's
in the NBA, he had a good career with the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, after the fact, then it was like, okay, that makes sense.
But the time, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But when it comes to Pat Kelsey in this upcoming season, I stand pretty firmly in this. I understand and I know that the people that are in power currently, and actually, let me touch on this while we're talking, so I can work it in with the Kenny.
Let me ask you this: Why is Pat Kelsey get a pass more than Jeff Brom as far as criticism goes?
He does not for me. For me, he doesn't. Are you
But
talking
I'm saying
about
overall, can you see that overall? To me, the fan base hosts Jeff Brom at a different position than Pat Kelsey when it comes to criticism and scrutiny.
Well, Jeff Brom's got one extra year of evidence. I don't agree with it because, me personally, Jeff Brom can do. I'm not going to say no wrong for me. I understand wanting to make the playoff. I understand expecting the playoff and all that. But Louisville football has been. We have experienced a continual degradation. Quick burst of greatness, degradation is how Louisville football has been my entire life.
It's been consistent,
consistently. You had John L. Smith, and then you went into Bobby Petrino, and that was the big rise. And then 06, which I hold firm that if Michael Bush didn't get hurt, but more importantly, just don't. Honestly, even without that, if you're not offsides, Will Gay, that Louisville probably could be playing and probably wins a national title that year because you're ranked high enough, and then Florida wouldn't be playing against Ohio State. Louisville's going to beat that Ohio State team. They were not that good. I think Louisville could have maybe potentially should have had their best chance.
Zachy C, did you hear that Ohio State? Sucks.
Take your bum ass Buckeyes and get out of my face.
Michigan.
But that being said, so
flag in the closet. That's why I said that.
Oh, okay. Well, continually though, throughout my time as a Louisville football fan, I've experienced from that day forward. You had the Crackthorpe era, and you had the misery of that. You bring Charlie Strong back, and while Charlie Strong was good, I never got the high that I got off of the Bobby Petrino era. It may have been youth. I did this.
Hey, listen. We know why he's not. Why he.
Okay. Yes, we know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Well, yes. I know. Yes. Actually, I can't say it on here. I have an interesting history with that situation. Personally, not personally as in like people like relational, but like business wise. Say that.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so it's interesting to me. But anyway, that being said, Charlie Strong goes to Texas, all that, whatever happens, all that. And then you deal with what we thought was going to be good, but the Bobby 2.0 and just the way that it fell out, because I don't need to tell the history back and forth. Then you get stuck with Satterfield, yada. I just think the floor is so low in football that Jeff Brom can kind of do no wrong for me. Like, I get angry and I will yell and cuss and I will tweet it out and be pissy about losing to Stanford and losing to whatever. And people can get mad at me on Twitter or whatever, and that's fine because I do expect more. But at the same time, in my heart, I'm forgiving after the game, like after the fact. I'm not going to hold it forever. Pat Kelsey, I'm holding on to this. Like, I'm holding on to this anger. The anger. I'm talking about the anger. Huh?
Why not? You know how many games they've lost? How many games they've tricked? How many games they've choked away in football that they shouldn't have?
I absolutely, yeah.
But here's my thing, and I'm almost talking about it like I'm a legit fan. I'm a supporter. Everybody knows me knows I'm a supporter because Louisville looks out for me. I look out for you. That's how it works. That's how it should work.
Yeah.
Like at the same sense, when is Jeff also going to be held to the same standard to a scrutiny, the reverse side of it? How many games have they tricked away that they shouldn't have?
To me, I think you got a few more years before you even get there. To be honest,
because to me, it's CFP or bust. With what they've invested, what they've retained, to me, it's CFP or bust, or at least ACC title, title or bust.
These are conversations I'm gonna go a little bit. I'm gonna dip it in for this, but I'm not gonna go full in because I think this is one that I need to bring you back on from. Pause. I need to bring you back in for more football conversation because what I thought I was gonna have to do if it weren't for the Kenny Klein thing is I thought we're gonna be talking about Will Stein, his recruiting right now, and I hate talking recruiting. Like I can talk basketball recruiting because it's a very focused group. Football recruiting is hard for me. Like it's like here's all this deluge of players that Will Stein's getting. I've never seen him coach a game as a head coach at the University of Kentucky. I have no idea how I'm supposed to comment on that right now. Like I need more data in front of me.
Speaking of Kentucky, how about Strebel constantly always going at Vince Morrow on Twitter, man?
Well, there's a history there. There's a lot of history. Also, sorry, my man, I missed it. Shout out my guy, the ghost with the most 420. It's an elite picture. Says great show as always. Shout out to my future ex-wife Anna. Always enjoy your show, Justin. Salud, my friend. I appreciate you. You know what? Yeah, te salud. And I just spilled that all over. Yeah.
Can you do this? Hold on.
I forget. I feel like this is something I did when I was in like. I don't know how to do it.
That looks so bad when I did it. That looked
it looked pretty bad. I don't know where that's going with that, but yes. Yeah. Anyway, shout out. Thank you for the super chat. Always my guy. And it'll be back next week. She'll be back Wednesday too. If you want to turn in Wednesday. I think we're doing Wednesday. I think Struebel's on vacation, so I better confirm with Struebel that we're doing Wednesday. But I think I could see him drinking on the beach and probably being down to do it. Anyway, sorry, I've been getting a little bit sidetracked. Let me get back on the topic real quick that I do want to kind of dive into for a second longer. We were talking about expectations with this program, with football. I'll have more, more expectations as well. But I think also, here's the issue for me. Outside of Jeff Brom, if you're Louisville football right now, and the backup plan was Will Stein, right? Like if you have to move on, if there's another coach out there, there is no clear answer. We've had Jeff Brom, I wouldn't say in the back of our pocket because he turned Louisville down the first time, but you had that feeling that coach was going to come to Louisville this next time. You kind of knew when Scott Satterfield gets fired or thankfully he moved on to Cincinnati, that's where you're going to look to again. If not, I don't know where they go at this point. Like, even if you remember Charlie Strong, when Louisville fired Steve Cragthorpe,
they can't afford to go anywhere though.
Yeah, but there was a groundswell for Charlie Strong that we kind of like knew early on. That's the guy we want them to go get, even like at that level, even at going out and getting a defensive coordinator and making him a head coach. I don't know that that's out there right now, and I also don't know exactly who else you can get. You can't get anybody of Jeff Brom's prestige or his level to come in whenever he's gone at this point because the ACC, the money's not there. So that's, to me right now, is like, that's one reason again why Jeff Brom has the longest leash he could desire at this point with me.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a lot of excuses out there, and they are excuses. And if you want Louisville football to be great and to go win a national championship, you're going to look at me like a loser a little bit, but I also live in somewhat of a reality of what Louisville football is. I also live in a reality of what Louisville basketball has been and can be. And we know that national championships and Final Fours are in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it hasn't been.
Same for Kentucky. Same for Kentucky.
The craziest thing to me, and I've talked, in perpetuity about it, but like, it's crazy to me that Kentucky basketball fell as much as they did because like Louisville basketball has, all the reasoning for why. Like, there's lots of reasons. There's lots of squirting to the ceiling and like all that kind of stuff's out there. Kentucky basketballs didn't make sense. It was just kind of like, it makes sense because of people being frustrated with Cal and then all the people pulling money from Cal and then trying to push him out and force him out. And then now you got stuck with Mark Pope because you thought you were going to go get, Danny Hurley or somebody like that, Scott Drew or whoever. But it's almost wild to me that Kentucky basketball is like their fans or really, Kelly Craft and people like that have kind of put them in this situation. I
hate to say this, but it's very disinteresting, if that's even a word.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like it's
this bores
it's gotten
me,
to the point. Yeah, it's gotten to the point where you almost don't get excited for the games. It's almost like you have to be reintroduced to it to a degree.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't have to say that with it being Kentucky basketball. But now you're just sitting here like, man.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried long term. Louisville basketball and Kentucky basketball, we're losing a generation of fans. Like the longer this drags out, you're losing a generation of fans. Like people don't know what Louisville basketball was when I grew up. And like even in the 90s, it wasn't great. I grew up, and one of the reasons I like Louisville, A, they had the same colors as the Bulls. B, I'm a contrarian, and C, I also with the contrarian part, I also like the underdog. I like Louisville basketball was always with, especially Kentucky was winning national or they came back up and they had, they had Rick Pitino at the time and they were winning all this stuff. I was like, I'm going to go for the other team. I like the team that I want to see them win. I like, and I got family and stuff too. But, it's just one of those situations where I don't know that many fans are out there. If you listen to the station, you hear guys like Leo and people like that who are like upset about the money being poured in because it's not going to soccer or whatever the hell. I'm like,
man,
buddy, burn every other.
Cry me a river. You know what? Let me go on my Blankenbaker for a second. Why the fuck would you put money into something that never makes you a fucking dollar of profit anyways? Where the fuck do they do that at?
I agree. I think my personal opinion is burn all the ships, burn everything except for football and basketball, men's basketball. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I love Jeff Walls.
Guess what? At some point, it's going to come to that. Unfortunately, though, all jokes aside, if it keeps going the way it's going, it's going to come to that. You're not going to keep paying to keep something afloat that doesn't make you shit.
Yeah.
No business does that. Eventually, it could come to that. I don't want it to, but if it keeps going down that path, why wouldn't it?
Can I? And I hate to say it because, every time I know there's people that really love the Louisville women's basketball team, and I like them. They're fine, unless you can get like the Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark kind of dynamic, and I think it's funny and enjoyable or whatever. It's hard for me to watch. It's just hard. Like unless you get somebody at that level, I watch it, but it's just not really for me. I will say I do enjoy it because Sophie's hilarious. I don't know if you saw the whole bit of her.
I'm actually supposed to get season tickets to Jeff Walls and the Lady Cards this year, actually. But you talking about that?
No, yes, that was, dude. I was dying at that. I enjoy it. Like she's got spunk, she's got whatever. And it's enjoyable at least to watch. So at least it gives you something. And the thing, I'm just disgusted by it. I don't want this to become a topic because I'm still staying with the topic we were talking about. But the whole the assaulting of Caitlin Clark is infuriating to watch at this point. Like it's been bad. It's gotten worse.
I would say this: she does. I'm definitely a Caitlin Clark. I don't know if you say fan, but I'm a supporter. I'm definitely a supporter. I want to see her do good. Mm-hmm. You got to protect your moneymaker. She clearly draws. And my thing is this, and I'm just going to keep it real. I'm all for women's sports. I'm all for women's empowerment. I have 2 daughters. Mm-hmm. When the fuck did you ever hear anybody talk about the WNBA until Caitlin Clark came back?
Yeah.
Name it. And I'm not saying that people didn't, but on the scale that they do, you fucking can't.
Do you see
people can't get over that?
Do you see the stands when the Indiana Fever are playing? Whoever they play, they're full. It looks like a men's basketball game. Like they're actually packed. Like I don't know. I give her a lot of credit. At first, I'm always kind of a contrarian.
She does have to toughen up though a little bit. She does got to kind of start trying to fight back her own battles because you're a grown ass woman. Take up for yourself.
She's done well. See, that's the thing. She's always been I'm above it, but she's just taking hits, and it's at some point, throw a punch. I get it. You're the good guy. You're the face. Those are the heels. I get that. I don't do wrestling, but I know what that is. So at that point, it's like you're being too goody two shoes. Some point, throw a punch back. Otherwise, they're gonna keep doing it. They feel like you're just you're a punching bag at this point.
That's what my guy Rico, I can't remember his middle name. I think it's Rico Dupree Walker on Twitter. The guy I always interact with. He's a Louisville fan. Guy's always been real cool. He said it. He's like, man, she need to toughen the fuck up. And she does.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think, but that's why. But that's also why. That's why they
pick on you until you do something.
Yeah, but that's also kind of why they brought in Sophie and players like that because they're your job is basically you're the enforcer. You're the one who's going to whatever.
I think it had to do a little bit of her looks too, given the market too. Hey, she's not.
I don't see looks. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I don't see it. I don't know. I can't. I don't see looks. I don't see color. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Anyway, Walt Nicholas says, I stopped listening to anything Pat Forty had to say because how he berated anyone who questioned the Kenny Payne hire. Bozich,
Hold
too,
on,
but
Pat
he had the
Ford.
decency.
Pat Ford. Hey, hold on. Pat Ford was KP Mafia.
I don't remember Pat Forty doing that. I'll be remind me, like, can you find that? Because I don't remember it. I know there was an early time where everybody.
That's news to me if he was.
I felt like every journalist or every whatever had to be on board of the if you go against the hire of Kenny Payne, you're the asshole, is what it was. And so I'm not sure if that's what you're saying, because I don't really remember 40 being that vocal about it. If you could remind me of specifically what he said. He also said Strong needed an alpha offensive coordinator. It would have been rounded him out to a high quality coach, but like so many others, he wanted to do his own way. Terrified Kelsey with the same issue with that is I think Sean Watson actually surprisingly was an alpha offensive coordinator. You saw it when he opened up the playbook against Miami in 2014, and that's what it could have been. Problem is I mean, he wanted to rest his defense. And I'll be honest, I've never seen a defense since that day that hyped me up as much when they were on the field to watch than watching your offense. Like I would watch Charlie Strong defense. I would just watch highlights of their defense all day. Like Marcus Smith and all those players out there. I would, yeah. So, but I get what you're saying, but I think Sean Watson secretly, because he took so much shrapnel. Sean Watson took so much hate because we're like, what the hell are these plays? It's what Charlie wanted. And it didn't matter who you got underneath him unless they were just going to completely go against what he says. And then he's going to what, fire him? He's going to take his playbook. I don't know. That was my personal opinion though. A few more of these. Let me read through these and then we'll get right back. And then I don't know. Do you have to work or go to or something like that? I know you usually work late or sleep.
I can give you another 10 minutes.
Okay, let's go through it real quick.
We'll give it 10 minutes.
I appreciate you. One says, to be fair, Strebel's right about Vince. I'm trying to figure out why we brought him on board because Jeff's a friend. I mean, here's the thing. Vince did put out his latest tweet. I don't know if Strebel responded to it. I haven't seen it. I'm sure he did. But he did say about like y'all playing chess, I'm playing, or no, well, he should have said that. Y'all playing chess, I'm playing checkers. But he just said, I think he said y'all are playing checkers, I'm playing chess. We'll see something in the end. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. But right now, I will say this, and I don't want to. Today's not going to be a Will Stein recruiting show, not yet. But he is. I mean, it's impressive to see what they're doing so far.
He's killing it. Anybody that says he isn't currently is full of shit.
Yeah, I don't know enough to say how it's going to work out or what those players are or whatever.
No, neither do I. Nobody does, but he's doing it.
They're highly rated players with interest from schools, like Bama. Louisville's listed on a lot of them, and they're winning those recruiting battles. I've heard there's some interest there in Jahide.
Go ahead. I was going to say that. You seen Jake Narrott. I think he threw him a pass at some like rivals camp. I'm ooh.
Well, Monday, I'm gonna go up there and be like, "What's going on, big dog? What's going, buddy? You can't be leaving our school here. You can't be leaving the school. Centurion's got to stay here anyway." Charlie brought that Florida mentality to Louisville. He expected us to operate like a top level program. Leadership is everything.
I think Charlie's problem was off. Charlie's issues wasn't that he couldn't be a leader. Wasn't anything about him not being a coach. His issues that led to the demise of the program under him was his inability to behave off the field, and I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nothing else.
Everybody knows. Like at this point, it's like if you don't know, you know. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. You can't.
You're under a rock. Yeah, you're under a rock.
Yeah, you got to keep little Charlie tamed. Okay, so real quick. Sorry, I got off top. Okay, you were talking. I guess really the main topic that we were ending it with is about when are the expectations for Louisville basketball, or you're talking about basketball and football and the expectations there. My thing with Pat Kelsey is this:
Sweet 16 minimum.
Jeff Brom's got as much as he wants to be here.
If it's not a Sweet 16, the season has to be considered a failure. Has to. Too much talent.
Yeah, I agree with you.
At some point, listen, and I'm saying this from the Kentucky fan perspective.
Yeah.
Just like how we view certain shit with Kentucky, how it's a failure with given the talent, If you do not make minimum Sweet 16 at Louisville, it is a fucking failure. You can have success, but overall, am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but here's the issue. I'm operating, and a lot of the issues that I've had with the people here, and there was a little bit of issue with me and the Church family, and they came at me and my wife a little bit, and were DMing my wife, and this is back in the day. They DM my wife to try to basically tell me to be quiet and whatever, and she's like,
"Quiet these nuts."
Yeah, well, my wife's like, "What am I gonna do? Go hold Justin's phone hostage and not let him tweet?" She's like, that's not how my household works. That's not how this works. Justin's thing is separate from her. She doesn't deal with it. Anyway, but I still have love and respect and appreciation for what Tom Jurich did. I think Tom Jurich was the greatest AD Louisville basketball has had.
You're a fool if you don't. He was amazing.
And I would take him back in a heartbeat. Like I like what Josh Hurt is doing. I have concerns, but I think he comes from that lineage. I would like to see him put it a little bit more on the table moving forward, though. And I think the expectations, when I was doing these After Dark lives from the beach when Pat Kelsey got hired. So let me go down this rabbit hole real quick. I talked a little bit about it with Phil in the last video we did, but with Pat Kelsey, the problem is I think the people that are in place currently, they don't have the balls to make a move, and they're not going to put the pressure on him enough that he's going to get at least 5 years. I feel like total, like at least 5 years. So he's got 3 years in. He's got 5. He's probably got 3 more, so at least before pressure is real. If that makes sense. I think the fans are going to make their decision after this year. I think after this season, if Louisville basketball doesn't make a Sweet 16, which again, my main frustration during this portal season issue was I really wish they would have gotten like Momcilovic, or they would have gotten John Blackwell who went to Duke and guys like that, because then you kind of had that final piece that says Louisville is a top 10 team, is a national title contender. Now go take that national contending team and go do what you can with them and prove to me what you can coach out of those guys. Now he's got a really good team, but it's a team that's like a top 15-ish team right now. Maybe I've seen some people say they rate it lower, 15 to 20. And
they're hating and they don't know their head from their ass if they say lower than their 15. I'd say at worst top 15.
Could be
15 being worse,
but yeah, it could be. But at this point, you're right though. It is Sweet 16 or bust for the fan base. I think most of the fan base will tighten the screws a little bit.
They would consider this season a failure if they don't make at least a Sweet 16.
Yeah. So, and that's where I sit with it.
If Charlie wasn't banging it.
Oh, no. My bad. I didn't mean to put that on there. My bad. Take that off. I just clicked it because that was my guy. Buddy. If you see, here's the thing. I trusted you. I trusted the ghost with the most 420. If I can't trust the ghost with the most 420.
He goes, I agree with this UK guy talking about me. In my opinion, the floor for U of L basketball should always be Sweet 16, just like UK's floor should be the Elite 8. Absolutely. I agree with you on that.
It
should be.
I think perennially, I think that is the Louisville and Kentucky way of operating. The fans, Kentucky fans expect Elite 8 and above. Louisville fans, it's at, that tier lower than UK, which is like Sweet 16 and above. So just my issue there though is PK, there is no real pressure on him. I mean, there's pressure, but I don't think there's really that kind of pressure from the program for him. And until that happens, until some of that fire starts burning.
Mm-hmm. Because they can't afford nobody else.
Yeah, that's fair. It's affording, but it's also
I'm not faulting Kelsey for that. Hey, use that to your advantage, dog. That's business. But yeah. I mean, if you could afford somebody else, people in high up places would be talking differently. But they can't. So they got to bite the bullet on whatever they say out in the public.
Well, I think it's also this. is it's not even just the money part. It's the fact that you can't money whip people to come to your school. So Kentucky basketball, the standard for college basketball at this point, or until this point, had to hire Mark Pope. And that's without scandal. That's without prostitutes.
Better than Billy G. I mean,
and I understand, but like that's without prostitutes. That's without, a leaked.
You know what a good comparison
to stay in the Gold House.
Good comparison. Billy G. Is the exact same as Scott Satterfield. The only difference is there's liquor.
Kind of, yeah.
Where's the difference?
Yeah.
First year, Billy G, SEC Coach of the Year, did amazing. Scott Satterfield, first year, ACC Coach of the Year, had a subpar year, 9-4. They ain't done shit since. So that was the only difference. Is the drinking.
That's not a terrible one. Real quick though, I do want to mention a shout out if you need something or if you just need to be energized, your car needs to get moving, and you're stuck there. You pulled a Nick Valvano. You forgot to stop at the gas station. Now you're stuck on the side of the road. Or Creighton Harley, if you will. You call our friends over at Juiced Fuel. With Juiced Fuel, they bring the gas station directly to your car, at home, at work, wherever you are. Juice Fuel, skip the gas station for good. Use code ESPN and get your first month of VIP membership free. Download the app today with Juiced Fuel. So shout out them. I know you got to go. I guess I'm just leaving it off at this point. Is I don't think. I think it's a long road. I think Kentucky's going to end up probably if things continue the way they were last season with Mark Pope, Kentucky will hold that standard. You got a new AD who's ready to move on. You're going to go higher. You're going to make a change. Louisville basketball, it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, they're going to because they can't afford shit.
Problem is,
I'm not saying Kentucky can't either, but they cannot afford it more than Louisville.
You got the SC. Well, I mean, yeah. Here's the thing: that $30 million debt, whatever they put in, that's their investment. I mean, and that's the thing too. That's your investment in Pat Kelsey, and it's like if he fails with that, then you're bust. Then you're bust, and what are you sitting with? Like, how do you crawl out of that? Is it possible to crawl back out of it? I mean,
you don't.
I guess you're hoping that there's enough people that come to games, that buy the tickets, that concessions, all that kind of crap, because Kentucky and Louisville basketball is pretty close to what most everybody else is making on football. Kind of.
You better get to selling them glizzies. I know that. You better start selling them glizzies in the young.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Last question, real quick. Actually, you know what? Yeah. Last, just real quick hit question. Louisville, Kentucky football, week 0, yay or nay?
Why the fuck not?
Yeah, like play it the very first week of the season.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. I mean, Louisville's at a disadvantage either way. Because I'm gonna tell you why. That Jeff Brown's first year, they went 10-0, or how many games they went in a row, and then they lost to Kentucky, and they kept losing to Kentucky.
Yeah,
prevented them from making something. Whereas if you do it in the beginning, you're screwed because you're already starting off losing to an unranked team. It's a lose-lose to me, a situation for Louisville either way. Kentucky would benefit from it more at the beginning of the year because you could really gauge what you can do based off a team with the level of competition that Louisville provides to you as an opponent for Louisville. The fans, however, why would you not want it at the beginning of the year?
Beautiful weather.
Fuck out the way.
Get the beer out. You're outside. You know what I don't want to do? I don't want to be hosting an ESPN Louisville Plus stream live at the stadium wearing a cardigan sweater and like my big old whatever Tony Soprano jacket. Like I got to do last year.
Gabagoo?
A little gabagool.
Are you going to be doing anything streaming wise down in Nashville in 2 months?
I haven't even thought about it. It might not be a bad idea if we can figure something out. Maybe I know we're going to be down there. I know we're going to be down there for about 3 days. So. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I got a free place to stay. You better believe it.
Well, I know if We'll see. There's some stuff in the works right now with ESPN Louisville Plus. Andy, keep an eye, look out for Andy or Struble show potentially hopping on here and being a regular streaming aspect of this channel. So if you enjoy that, make sure you're locked in, hit subscribe over on the YouTube channel. That way you can watch it there and see the nonsense, and especially Big Rig and Double J in studio. You can't miss that. You got to be able to see those guys. And then, did you say Zach?
Shaq.
Oh, Shaq. Yeah, Shaq. Chuck. I called him Chuck too when I stopped in. Football game should always be the first game of the year. Gives it a bigger showcase, and we can play on Sunday or Monday on Labor Day weekend. It's always better that week. I completely agree.
Hold on. I can't see that picture fully. Is that Yokozuna?
I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know if there's. I mean, I can't really zoom it in. It's going to mess up the whole thing. I think. Can I do this? Oh, I can. No, it didn't go bigger.
It's Yokozuna. That's Yokozuna.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, I love it.
I don't even know who that is. But anyway, all right, guys, do me a favor. If you haven't already, go over, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Corey, for hanging out tonight. Any final thoughts, opinions you need to get off your chest?
I did all right.
You did.
Is this where you can say anything?
You can say anything on this. Oh, wait. No, not anything. You can cuss. But that doesn't mean
FCC, obviously. Yeah.
Like I don't need racial slurs, none of that, none.
No. You ain't got to worry about that. No.
Okay.
So here's my thing. What I get sick and tired of is these fucking weirdos that call into the radio shows, complain, saying shit about players or saying shit about people like me, you, or the people that run the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck aren't you doing it? Why the fuck don't you? Shut the fuck up. That's it. Shut the fuck up. That's it. I just wanted to tell somebody that. I'm glad I could.
Hey, you heard it here first. Corey Bosemer wants you all to shut the fuck up. That's what he wants. Shout out. I don't think there's a better place to end it than right there. I think we'll just leave it with that. Guys, hope you all have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy the work week back tomorrow. The Sunday scaries now after this. But go home, enjoy your wife, kids, whatever you got. And you know what? You can shut the fuck up. Wait, dang it. I forgot the video or the sound. There we go. See you all.